Big Brother 27, Morgan Pope on her biggest move, breaking records and more. Morgan Pope was a competition beast on Big Brother 27. She won 5 Power of Vetoes and 2 Head of Household competitions. This gave her the record of most consecutive weeks immune with 7, meaning she kept herself safe for 7 weeks in a row. She formed many alliances that kept her safe throughout the game and won when she needed to. She also got close to Vince Panaro in the house and stayed loyal him until the end. Although she became the last juror of the season, Morgan still has a lot to be proud of. Morgan talked to TV Insider about keeping her real profession a secret, Ashley cutting her relationship with Vince, and more. You made it to the final 3, that's nothing to cry about. You play an amazing game. Thank you. So I'm going to start off by saying, I don't know if you know this, but you now hold the record for the most consecutive rounds immune with 7. That means you were safe for 7 weeks in a row. That is the most since Ian Terry in season 14 with 5. Did you ever think that you would hold a record like that going into the game? No. It's funny because I remember when I won my vetoes in a row, and everyone's like, oh, you're on KC, Clark, status right now. And I'm like, you're going to compare me to KC, like what? And then when I couldn't win that 4th veto, at least I'll be compared to, not necessarily compared to KC, because she won the game, but the fact that they even mentioned her name next to mine, I was like, wow. But to think that I have a record I didn't even know that. I'm just learning this now. That is wow. I am shocked, honored, blessed, humbled. Like that is insanity. I don't know what came over me. I just kept going with momentum. I was just unstoppable, and I'm so proud of myself. Ashley decided to cut you in the final 3. Were you shocked by that? Did you think it was going to happen? It's hard because her and I's conversations were always us going to the final 2 together. And I think that was under the impression that she was not going to win the final HOH, that I was going to. It'd be smart for me to take her and not Vince, which was obviously a tactic for her, because I feel like I could have won either way. It probably would have been more of a landslide against Vince than against Ashley, which is why I was very torn. Even now, part of me feels like I would have taken Ashley, because I know I would have beat her, but I could have taken Vince to beat him too. But it was hard, because when she won, and I was holding her hand on the way out and telling her how proud I was of her and congratulating her, part of me just had this feeling that I was going to be the last juror. And it's like when things are out of your control, you can't let it get the best of you. I always stand by the fact, when you try to control something, it controls you. So I knew in that moment that I could look back and leave this house being proud of the game that I played. And even if I didn't win this game, I do believe that people are going to remember the game that I played. And when they hear Big Brother 27, they might even mention my name before Ashley. I mean, like it's something that I know that while I didn't win the game, I was the best in the game, and I'm very flattered by that, and I'm honored to hold that title, if you will. Being a 7th juror, you got to cast a vote, and you were the sole vote for Vince. Was that in spite of Ashley or were you just being loyal to Vince? Yeah, no, it was definitely not in spite of Ashley. Ashley cooked in her speech. I said it before, I was like, she cooked him like a well-done steak. I was so proud of her, truly. And it was hard, because I remember when I was jostling the keys in the bag, I kept going back and forth between Ashley and Vince, and I was just like, I played this whole game with Vince. I'm one of the only people who knows his story and knows how much this meant to him, and I know that if roles were reversed, he would have voted for me. So it was just one of those ways of saying thank you for playing this game with me, and the fact that we didn't go after each other when we had so many times where we could have, and I know he would have done the same for me. So just one of those ways where it's just like, he wasn't gonna win. He knew he wasn't going to win, and I would not take back the vote. I mean, it was just that was my best friend in the house, and what one way to say thank you, than to send him a vote, kind of like what I did in week 10, where I took Ava, Pearl, off the block. Ava was safe no matter what, she wasn't going to go home. It was more of the fact of me saying thank you to her for saving me in week 7, sitting next to Riley, Jeffries, on a 5-4 vote. It's just like the little gestures to me mean a lot. And I had already told Ashley before leaving the house that I love her. I mean, I hugged her and told her how proud I was of her and that she deserved to win. I hope she doesn't think any differently about my vote. And she's like, girl, I knew you were gonna vote for Vince. That's all good. Like she didn't care. So she understood my intention, and she even knew, even in the house, that I told her if Vince was on the block finale night, etc., like, in the top 2, would I be allowed to vote for him? No, but would anybody be surprised if I vote for him also? No. You were just saying you were loyal to Vince and best friends with him in the house the whole time, but you told Julie, Chinmunvez, that you would have taken Ashley. Yes, I was going to take Ashley because the thing is I think a lot of people thought that I wouldn't have it in me to do it, but I know that if I really wanted to put the nail in the coffin, I earned this win, and I deserve to win. Because if I were going against Ashley's speech, people might have been like, oh, she's cooking. But if I were to win and take out my #1 ally and best friend, that shows that I came to play a game, not to play a game of best friends. We're playing Big Brother, not Big Bestie. What do you think was your biggest move of the season? Think my biggest move this season is probably what everyone already knows, but I'm going to say it anyway, was using the veto on Ava. Vince had his 3 targets up on the block, but I only had a pawn, or, well, it was an ally. Ava was an ally. Kelly, Jorgensen, was the target, and Keanu, Soto, was my shield, so that block was not stacked the way that I needed to be stacked. And I know Vince valued our game relationship a lot, and he knew that if he didn't make the decision that I wanted him to make, that we probably wouldn't be working together, and he would be an even bigger target in the house, and he wasn't really willing to risk that, which was smart, because I would have had no choice but to go against him if he was trying to keep Lauren in the house. Looking back at their connection, Morgan revealed to Swan, I stand by what I said to Julie, Chinmunvez. Like it was a strictly friendship, platonic relationship for me. However, she added, I mean, I can't speak for him. You know, that would be something that you'd have to ask him specifically. But for me, it was a platonic friendship that was game-related. Clearly on the same page as his ally, Vince admitted, Morgan's an awesome friend. She is such a good friend, and she's a local to LA. So I hope that we're friends outside of this. Shifting the topic, he continued, and I hope that I'm friends with Keanu, Soto, outside of this. I hope I'm friends with Lauren, Doming, outside of this. You know, really the good people that I felt really close to in the house. Describing the importance of one-on-one relationships in the Big Brother house, Morgan shared, I mean, when you come into the house, you try to find allies. We're the only 2 in the house that were from LA, so we naturally connected, just on our favorite places, and where we lived, and things like that. We just grew together. Beyond their friendship, Morgan dove into their dominant alliance. She told Swan, Vince loved to strategize, just like me. It just kind of worked, and especially someone who won HOHs, you know, it was nice to have someone who was in power. I had won 4 HOHs. That's a full month of safety for me, and then I was able to win my own stuff and protect him. So it was just kind of like this mutual agreement of a great friendship. However, not every minute in the Big Brother house is spent on gameplay. Morgan confessed, I think when we would turn the game off, it was just nice to kind of escape because that's what you need in the house. When you don't turn the game off, you literally go crazy. You get paranoid, and you think that all these things are happening when they're not. Even so, she maintained, so when you're able to turn the game off and just connect with someone on that kind of friendship level, it's something that I really cherish. Addressing the cheatmance rumors head-on, Morgan told Swan, the narrative is going to be what the narrative is. But I can speak from my perspective, and that's what it is for me. Those are my intentions, strictly friendship, and I stand on that. While Vince's girlfriend has yet to speak out about her take on Vince's social game, Vince confirmed to Swan that Kelsey was not present at the finale. I know, using that veto and giving him all the best possible, you know, pros of why Lauren should touch that block. And she did, you know, it was the best move that I had at the game, because it's instilled this distrust between Lauren and Vince. So that was just check number one of making sure that Vince got closer to me and not to Lauren, because I know he was kind of working both of us because he wanted the final three to be us three, because he would have gone to the finals regardless. So, that way, with that distrust, like when I won, HOH, it's just I knew what to do. Like, there was already enough mistrust there. I had enough votes to send her home. And it just kind of worked as a 1-2 checkpoint. You just said that you knew that Vince was working with you and Lauren. You found out he had a final two with Lauren. Did you ever think of like putting him up or maybe team up with Lauren and get Vince out because he was playing both of you?